Do you own stocks?
I do. Actually, I own Microsoft stock, I own IBM stock, and I own 529 stocks, mutual funds.
Do you have a stockbroker?
I do. I actually use Fidelity, and I use Merrill Lynch for my mutual funds, and I use Fidelity for my other stock.
Having a stockbroker, there's a lot of advantages to that.
There is, but there's a cost associated with it. I have Fidelity, but I don't use their service. I actually do my trading online.
Have you made a profit so far?
Absolutely. I've made money on all my stocks.
Why do you personally buy stocks?
Well, I buy stocks because it's a great investment. 529, of course, are tax-free bonds or tax-free stocks that I use for college. And my other stock, I actually work at Microsoft, so I buy my stock through an employee purchase program.
During the economic crash in 2008, did you buy, sell, or hold on to your stocks?
I actually I took an opportunity because I knew you would get stock at a great price, so I continued to purchase stocks. So I held on to it, and fortunately the market's back, so I actually made out by doing that.
Do you own penny stocks, long-term stocks, mutual funds? What kind of stocks do you own?
I own 529 mutual funds for college savings, and I own long-term stocks, IBM and Microsoft.
Is your everyday life, affected because of the stock market?
Well, I mean, I would say on a positive note, because of the stock market, we've been able to make money over the last, 20 years to help us buy real estate, and it's also helped us to pay for kids' college, so it affects me in a positive way.
If you were to give a letter grade on how well the stock market is doing today, what would that be?
I would say the stock market, I would give it a B, because we're back. I'm making money. I'm not making money like I used to make money in the stock market, but I am making money. I'm making a profit, better than I would make if I put my money in a bank account. So I would give it a B. I think that people made a lot of money years and years ago. I don't think that's the case anymore. But I would say it's definitely a good place to invest your money. But you just have to be careful and understand that you're not making the profits that we used to make.
Do you think the stock market is the base of America?
I believe that it's the base for the middle class and the upper middle class economy. I think for a lower class, it doesn't affect them at all because they're probably not invested in the market.
How did the last stock market drop affect you?
I saw a lot of my peers that work on Wall Street lose their jobs. There were, consolidation throughout the market. Our commission levels have gone down. I get paid by commission, so instead of getting 6 or 8 cents a share, I now get 3 to 4 cents a share.
Are you still being affected by the crash in 2008?
Absolutely, everything. The crash of 2008 is almost a bottom point, and everything's used to measure that. And we're trying to get back to levels that occurred before 2008, but every day it definitely has an effect on us.
Alright, what stocks would you recommend buying, like penny stocks or mutual funds or something like that?
I would never recommend penny stocks, even though they seem inexpensive. Your rate of return is going to be minimal, so it's not a great investment. Mutual funds are a nice, safe investment. I would always recommend, going safe, but it also depends on your age and where you are in life. If you're young, you can take more chances. If you're nearing retirement, you want to invest in something that's safer.
Alright, how does the stock market affect your everyday life?
My everyday life, well, I work on Wall Street, so without the stock market, I'd have no job. It also, if the market's going up, I'm much busier because my customers seem to want to get involved. The market's coming down, everybody kind of watches, so I might be quieter. And it affects, I think, everybody's, uses the stock market as a gauge financially.
Do you think the stock market is more chance or statistics?
Oh, that's a good question. So the premise of the stock market is statistics, but there's always chance because there's always these things that happen that nobody can predict. maybe a natural disaster, maybe somebody dying who's the CEO of a company, or one company buying another company. But the basis is everything is on statistics.
Are people buying more?
Well, I deal with institutional customers, and right now I find it's very quiet because the market is up, and so people don't want to buy with an up market because it makes for expensive stocks. And they also don't want to sell because they're afraid that the market's going to continue going up and they're going to miss some of their profits. So right now everybody seems to just be status quo.
Do you have like a plan of like, if it keeps going up, will you still buy, or like if it starts dropping, will you have more people buy or sell?
Well, most people use a resistance and a support level, so they actually have a discipline where they say, if it reaches a certain price, I'm going to sell, and if it reaches this certain price, I'm going to buy. And to be a good investor, you usually have to stick to a discipline, otherwise you run on emotion.
Are there other factors that might affect the buying and selling of the stock market?
Absolutely. Natural disasters, politics. If Obama was shot tomorrow, the market would come crashing in. Mm-hmm. And so that's something that you couldn't predict. Natural disaster, I think I said that. Maybe a CEO dying or getting caught in a scandal. There's always scandals that really can affect, a stock being investigated. A company might be investigated by the IRS or the SEC. That can affect a stock.
What is the economic forecast for both the consumer and the producers?
Well, right now it looks like everything's rosy, and the market's going to continue to go up, and the consumer is going to have more money to spend, and the producers are going to be able to produce more because the consumers have more money. Most of it seems, a lot of it's based on the housing market, which seems to be recovering. And what you have to remember is, for most Americans, their biggest investment is the housing market. So if their house was worth $200 last year and now it's worth $350, they feel much more secure in their spending ability. So that really plays into the economic factor a lot.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any more questions?
No.
For our economic health check, we did the stock market. Now, the stock market has a lot of ups and downs and changes. From this graph in the past couple of years, you can tell that the stock market has easily gone up and down, especially in the crash in 2008, in which many stocks were actually lost. Nowadays, it's back up to almost if not higher than pre-2008 crashes, but the market still is having troubles. My interviewee was Mr. Geronimo, who asked not to be videotaped for this assignment. His answers were that he does own stocks, that he does not have a stockbroker, that he likes to do his own research, which is why he doesn't have a stockbroker, that he has made a good profit, that he buys stocks to save for retirement and just as a hobby, that his stocks are for mutual funds, and so on, that in 2008 he did end up buying some stocks afterwards, but he kept hold of his stocks at the time. And that his everyday life is not affected by stocks, that he would give a B+ maybe, but the stock market is very fragile, that as you can see here just from the past couple months, that the stock market goes up and down easily, and even now it's gone up and down and up and down. And he claims that he thinks this is why the biggest factors were probably politics, the way people play and look at the stock market affects it, and the stock market is very corrupt, that different people can affect it in different ways.